What's up, guys? It's Friday, January 27th, and this is Newswave. So let's just get right into the biggest story that's happened, and that is the announcement between Square Enix and Marvel with a multi-game partnership leading with the Avengers project. And this has gamers all over the internet right now excited because we have an awesome developer with Square Enix who also has some pretty good IPs with things like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, and we have an awesome IP with Marvel and all of their superheroes. Obviously, we're starting with the Avengers to create what could potentially be an awesome story and just a great game overall, depending on how they want to go with it. Of course, Square has done stuff with Tomb Raider that has really reinvigorated that franchise, and of course, Hitman was really good. They could come together with Marvel, maybe do kind of like an action RPG, maybe with Marvel, and the Avengers is a great game to make something out of, because we could really take all the different superheroes, give them all stories, bring them together during the game, and it's interesting to see what this game turns out to be, because it sounds like a very ambitious project, something that could take up a lot of time and a lot of man hours, and it's a multi-game partnership, so a lot of people are thinking, oh, I wonder if it's episodic. I think that right now just means that they are leading with the Avengers project, and maybe they'll tackle other stuff in the Marvel universe as well. As I mentioned before, though, because Square owns some other IPs, you could see weird things possibly. I'm not saying you will. You could see things like Sora from Kingdom Hearts showing up, or Cloud or Sephiroth maybe fighting Iron Man, but that's just an idea. I don't think that's going to happen because they probably want to keep them separate. Keep in mind, though, Disney also owns things like Star Wars, so depending on how crazy they want to get with the series, they could do DLC with them, or maybe they just try to keep it as legit as possible and just try to make a big Avengers game. We'll see going forward. Keep an eye on their Twitter for more announcements, and you'll hear them here as well. Oh, and when questioned on Twitter from Insomniac Games, they did say that their Spider-Man IP, their game they're developing later this year, hopefully, is going to remain separate currently from that Avengers series. Keep in mind, the movie came out, and of course, Spider-Man shows up, so now people are trying to put Spider-Man in the Avengers. We'll see what they want to do. I assume Sony wants to keep that as a separate game for their system only, but you never know. Sony might try to do things like add Spider-Man as a DLC character for their copy of that game, for like the PS4 copy. Again, we'll see what they want to do going forward. And we did get word that No Kuni 2 is coming to the PC as well as the PS4, which is great. No Kuni 1 was awesome. If you have not played it, go buy it now. It's less than $20 online currently, and it's an awesome RPG. We also got word that No Kuni 2 on the regular PS4 will run at 60 frames. You don't have to have a PS4 Pro to run it at 60 frames per second, which is great. I assume there'll be some kind of patch to put it to 4K if you really want to. But the art style of the original one, you probably don't need to get a 4K image to get an awesome experience out of it, because kind of the cartoony visuals they use really offer things like awesome convection of emotion, and there's just some great stuff going on. If you haven't played the first one, go get it. Awesome game. Second one, we're still waiting to hear when it's coming out, hopefully this year, and 60 frames PS4 coming to the PC. That's going to be awesome. So this was an interesting story that kind of developed over the past couple days, and now we hear from the Zelda producer himself that Zelda Breath of the Wild took 4 years to make. We kind of already know that, but it took over 300 developers kind of coming in and out of the company at the time to develop this game. And I don't think it's any secret with how sprawling and how large the map is. I'll actually show you guys right here. Here's the map for Breath of the Wild. You'll see Skyrim, which is a big map as well, that is just completely dwarfed in comparison to Breath of the Wild. You'll see Wind Waker's little dot there almost. Breath of the Wild is looking to be one of the largest Zelda games ever, maybe one of the biggest maps made in a long time with video games. I have to look see if there's any other bigger maps. I'm sure there are, but this map is massive for Breath of the Wild, over 100 of those shrines, and it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. 300 developers, though, over 4 years is so many people working on this. And it has to be the most costly game that Nintendo's ever made. I think this is it right here. So this is coming out in a little over a month. I need to play this game. We're getting so close. I'm sure most of you guys are excited as well. I'll be playing it on the Switch. You guys will probably be able to watch me on live stream playing it if you want. But it's coming up, and hearing this has got me even more excited. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comments. But 300 developers over 4 years tells me that this game is going to be massive, it's going to be sprawling, and I think there's going to be a lot of little details that we'll try to find as well. And we talked about the Oculus versus Zenimax trial earlier this month, and it's coming to a close. So they're getting to the point now where they've made their closing statements and their arguments, and the jury now has to decide who is going to win the case. And of course, Zenimax is arguing that John Carmack, the instrumental person with Oculus right now who has left Zenimax, gone to Oculus, they're saying that he helped develop Oculus VR by using stuff he developed at Zenimax that was under a non-disclosure agreement, whereas Oculus is just telling them, no, that's not the case. And they've basically been fighting back and forth, trying to convince the jury one way or the other. And it's going to be over $4 billion. It's going to be a $4 billion payout to Zenimax if the jury finds in favor of Zenimax. Now, that is a lot of money. However, I'm sure Facebook will pay it. They don't want to pay it, obviously. But if Zenimax win, it could be a very large blow to Oculus. It could push back some of their development time a little bit. I don't think they have to lay people off, but they probably will have to slow development some. So we'll see where that goes from here. They should have some kind of verdict soon. I don't know the exact timetable. It really depends on how long it takes the jury to decide. And if you liked Pillars of Eternity, the first one, you'll be happy to know that Obsidian has started crowdfunding for the second one that's labeled Deadfire. And this is currently up on fig.com. If you check in the description below, I'll leave a link in case you want to check it out. Maybe you want to help crowdfund it. Just started pretty recently, and it's already over 58% completed, so there's a good chance that it is going to finish. They're looking for $1.1 million. Currently, as I'm recording this, they have 647,000 of that 1.1 million funded, and they still have 28 days to go, so they will get that funded more than likely at this point, and you will see Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire by Obsidian Entertainment at some point in the future. And it looks like there's different reasons to hack your NES Classic than simply adding games. So one of the biggest reasons to hack the NES Classic has been, hey, you can put X amount more games, whether it be 60 more to make 90 or it was 30 to make 60, doesn't matter. But the biggest thing that I think is really interesting, very useful definitely, is that they have fixed the need to press the reset button to go back to the home menu. So now instead of having to press the reset button, you can simply press down and select, and that'll just jump you right back to the home menu. You can change that if you want to another button combination, whether it's like right and select or select an A. But at this point, that's a great idea for a hack. Rather than just add games, you are actually adding to the functionality of the system. That's been people's biggest complaint, is you have to get up and hit the reset button. Well, you don't have to now. You can just hit down and select. They've made it a lot easier to hack the system to the point where you actually extract the NAND and then you replace it with a modified NAND. You put it back and it's hacked. You can do everything just through plug and play USB. And there's been a lot of reports coming out recently that Resident Evil 7 is making people sick through like motion sickness. And I kind of caught wind of this the other day when I was watching PewDiePie's initial run of Resident Evil 7. In the first episode, he actually talks about turning the sensitivity down so it doesn't make his audience sick. That caught me off guard a little bit, so I went ahead and looked around, and surprisingly, yeah, it's actually making people sick. And this isn't the first time a first-person shooter game or first-person game in general, which this is more of a first-person horror game, has made people sick. I used to see it all the time when I would work at different video game stores. People would come in and say they can't play first-person shooter games because it makes them too sick if it's like really fast and you're spinning around a lot. Well, reports are saying that yes, in Resident Evil 7, you have to really spin around a lot looking for jump scares, and even people watching Let's Players have gotten sick, or at least gotten that, not really throwing up, but like kind of gotten queasy from it, and they had to stop. And it's going to happen. I think the best way to fix that is turn your sensitivity down. But in particular, with games like Resident Evil 7, it will happen because you have a narrow field of view and you're spinning around a lot, like I said. So if you really want to try to fix that for yourself, I turn your sensitivity down a little bit and just try to stop yourself from running around and spinning around a lot, because it could get you kind of motion sick at that point. And if you want to try out Ghost Recon Wildlands, maybe you're interested in it or looked cool, they're going to be doing a closed beta later on this week, starting February 3rd through the 6th. And this is going to give people a chance to try out what they've been calling a dynamic multiplayer. So you and like 3 friends could do co-op, but if you don't have all 3 people to play with, maybe you have one other person, they'll fill in the other 2 with AI people, and then as other people get online and they're looking for maybe it's just one person looking for a game, they can then become one of the AI members that you have. And this is great because you could kind of start a game and they can be filled in as you're playing. It has like a drop in, drop out mechanic, so if they need to quit, the entire game won't end. They'll jump out, an AI member will take over until somebody else can join in. I think that's a great idea for multiplayer. It really is. It stops these people who just quit out and ruin the experience for everyone else. The computer will take over. It's remains to be seen how well it works, though. I think that's what this closed beta is for, to stress test their system and their algorithm to see if everything works okay. Again, it's February 3rd. You can go over to their site, sign up for the closed beta, get in. It'll be for the PS4, Xbox One, and the PC, again, starting February 3rd through the 6th. Go get signed up and try it out. And Square Enix is bringing their mobile Final Fantasy game, which is Mobius Final Fantasy, to Steam. And this is kind of to get people warmed up for Final Fantasy VII Remake, because it's going to have a tie-in straight to that game. And you're going to be able to play a mobile game that has praise from people who are playing it on their phone right now on Steam. There's a couple of mobile games I would like to see go to Steam myself. I do know a lot of people do play this Final Fantasy game, and of course, at this point, Square is doing whatever they can to get people aware of the Final Fantasy VII Remake, because they haven't done a lot of marketing for it. And if you're wondering what Mobius Final Fantasy is, it's just one of those free-to-play multiplayer role-playing games that you see on the phone all the time. It is better than some of the other ones that really just are cash cows that pull money from you constantly. Technically, you could play most of this without having to pay money. It's a little harder, obviously, it takes longer, but it is in the Final Fantasy universe. What's interesting, though, is when they move it to the PC, it will support up to 4K resolution and between 60 and 120 frames. They also said you'll be able to transfer your data from your phone to your PC just through your account settings, so you don't have to worry about starting all over again. And it's basically going to start the story leading up to Cloud, where in Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're going to use assets from the new game coming up, and you'll get a feel with Cloud and the reactor in the beginning, and they're saying it's going to be really cool. It's going to give you kind of that nostalgic feel if you're an older gamer, and it's just leading up. Like I said, it's the year of Final Fantasy now, leading up to the Final Fantasy VII Remake. But it is coming to Steam on the Windows computer February 6th, so check it out if you're interested. It's going to be free to download, so you can just try it out, maybe get some of the old feels back from Final Fantasy VII for their remake tie-in. That's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have a good weekend this weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you guys Monday.